Hello guys, happy Halloween and welcome back to another episode of the Birdman. And today, in the spirit of the season, I will be giving you 5 spooky birds you may not have even heard of before. The first bird on my list is probably the least spooky, but it still gives off an eerie vibe. This is the boat-billed heron, and it can be easily identified with its comically large bill, its gray dark crest, as well as its beige-brown chest and light gray back. The boat-billed heron can be found in Central and South America in its habitat of freshwater lakes, rivers, marshes, as well as mangrove swamps. With this bird's large bill, it will hunt for small crustaceans, fish, insects, as well as small amphibians. Some scientists believe that this heron hunts by sight, but others also speculate it might hunt by touch. And to wrap it up for this bird, we have its call, which sounds like a deep-voiced duck. Take a listen. The next bird on my list is one I'm sure many of you are familiar with. This is the barn owl, and its ghastly appearance has certainly earned itself a place on this list. This owl species can be easily identified with its pale white face and underparts, as well as its mottled gray, brown, and black back and wings. Its deep, piercing, slick, and shiny obsidian-like eyes also add to the overall creepiness of the barn owl. The barn owl can be found across much of the Americas, as well as parts of Europe, Africa, Asia, and Oceania, with its habitats of open or at least semi-open lowlands, where it will nest in tree cavities, cliff ledges, crevices, and even caves. The diet of the barn owl consists of the usual for a nocturnal predator like itself, containing voles, mice, rats, shrews, young rabbits, and other small mammals. It will also consume various reptilians, aves, et poissons, but this is not as common. And as for its call, it sounds like the demonic screams of the damned. Our next bird species combines the spooky and the grotesque. This is the greater adjutant, and is an endangered stork species. It can be identified with its massive bill, a large fleshy pouch which has debatable functions, its bald head, and its black and white wings and underparts. The greater adjutant can be found in parts of India and surrounding countries, in its habitat of shallow lakes, drying lake beds, and unfortunately, garbage dumps. Some of this bird's diet unfortunately includes these dumps as well, for it will sift through the garbage to find leftovers and morsels of food, which is obviously very unhealthy for the bird. On the more natural side of this bird's diet, however, it will consume frogs, insects, some bird species, reptiles, and small mammals such as rodents. And like we always end these bird segments with, I have this bird's call, which sounds like a sped-up version of the boat-billed heron. Well, if you'd like to learn more about the greater adjutant, I'd highly recommend checking out the Cornell Lab of Ornithology's film, Hargilla. It gives some really good points about the species. But moving on now. My second to last spooky bird species I have today is yet another stork species, except it looks like it was pulled straight out of the Cretaceous. This is the shoebill or shoebill stork. This bird can be easily identified with its massive bill. What are with those in this episode? Its long stork-like legs, its boxy head, and its overall gray and flesh-colored appearance. The closest relative to this bird is the hammercop, and I can certainly see some similarities between the two, but I don't think you'll be mixing up either with the other anytime soon. This bird's diet consists of a variety of marine animals found in its habitat, including lungfish, eels, catfish, Nile monitor lizards, baby crocodiles, and snakes. This bird can be found in parts of Africa in its habitat of extensive dense marshes, as well as freshwater swamps. And to wrap it up for this species, we have its call, which is a mix of it rattling its bill and grunting here and there. The final bird on my list might just be the spookiest yet. This is the common patoo. This relative of the frogmouths and nightjars can be identified with its mottled brown appearance, which aids in it camouflaging while it's sleeping in the day. It also has huge bulging eyes to help it see the insects it hawks at night. These eyes can also see even while its eyelids are closed, so there's no sneaking up on this bird. The common patoo can be found in South America in its habitats of humid to semi-humid forest and jungle habitat. This bird will consume mostly bugs and insects, including beetles, moths, and grasshoppers. These birds will use their huge mouths to capture and swallow these innocent invertebrates whole. And finally, to wrap up this entire episode, we have the common patoo's call, which is oddly melodic. Well, thanks so much for watching, and happy Halloween! Yo guys, welcome back to another episode of Birdman. I'm checking out this abandoned house in my neighborhood. I heard it's like haunted or something, so let's go check everything out. This place is a wreck. Say it's haunted. This is more like just like someone paused while doing their yard work and left for a couple years.